Welcome to Simply Sarah. I'm Sarah Stock. I'm your host, and you are going just to be so excited about who I'm going to be announcing. Before I announce them, I want to say thank you so much for investing in yourself. I believe it's one of the greatest things that we can be doing is to take who we are and find our gifts, find our abilities, and then to be increasing those, not just for ourselves, but for the beauty of what happens around us when we choose to do that. I'm going to be introducing the Chief Strategist Officer and Vice President of Programming and host of theirs for E360 TV, Julie Ann Meyer. We are just so delighted that you are here. Thank you so much for taking time out, and congratulations on your new titles, friend.
Thank you so much. It's been something that I've really been wanting to step into. So finally, we're here.
We are here. I love that you talk about finally we are here, because it has been a journey. And for people who are coming into the entrepreneurial world, perhaps are wanting to start their own television show, perhaps are considering a different medium, perhaps even podcasting, it can take a bit of a time. I would love for you to share a bit of your journey to get to where you are. And I'm just going to spotlight you and get out of the way as you share, friend.
Thank you. So first of all, thank you, Sarah, for having me here today. I really appreciate you and value our friendship. And Sarah's been with me from the very beginning of starting my own television network on E360 TV. But before that, I started out, started with COVID. I needed to make a change because I lost my job, and the business coach that I was working with at the time suggested that I do an online summit in order to create an email list to sell to. So I did that, and it was wildly successful. I had people on there that were interviewed by Oprah, you name it. And because of those particular guests, I was highlighted in magazines and TV shows and other things of that nature. And that led to somebody saying, hey, I think that you should have a TV show. And so that's where Own Your Wellness was born, was from that simple idea. I figured if I could do a summit, then I could easily, interview people once, twice a week. So I started doing that, and I'd been at it for quite a few years. And it got to the point where it either had to grow or it had to go. And because I just wasn't challenged anymore. Even though it was successful, even though I was doing really wonderful, it just wasn't enough as is. So I decided to create a coaching program to teach people how to do what I do. And that caught the eye of the CEO, Arion of E360 TV. And he asked me if I was interested in having my own TV network and that they would distribute it for me. And so I said, yes, please. And I figured out afterwards, I thought, oh my goodness, now I have to figure out how I'm going to do this. So I thought about who I wanted to invite. And Sarah, you were one of the very first people. So I am very excited to be here because you're one of my favorites.
We have been on this beautiful, expansive journey together. And one of the things that you shared with me right up front that you were excited about, that just helped me to say, I knew that I was going to be on this journey with you, but to help me understand about content is that we own all of our own content as hosts. That even though we are using the platform that has currently over 9 million people watching it worldwide, that we are the ones who are owning the content. And what an incredible piece that is. And then for you to come in and be already have such knowledge about what you were doing and moving into this new space. And we've had just so much fun along the way and encouraging each other, building each other up. And you have made some really huge steps in the last few months with E360 TV. And I would love for you to share a little bit about the expansion of what has taken place there. You can do the glossy version. You can get into a little bit more if you want to, whichever version you want. But we are so excited about this.
Well, there's a lot of great things, and with growth, there's a lot of challenge as well. They don't call them growing pains for nothing. So, but nobody's really necessarily interested in that part of it, except for the fact that it makes us stronger and it makes us more committed to what we are growing. And I truly appreciate every step along the way. Now, I was blessed to be offered a position with E360 TV. I still have my own network, but as the Chief Strategist Officer, I work with all of the shows versus just my network. And the really exciting thing that I'm so happy about that's finally starting to come to fruition is our technology transfer. So what does that mean? That means that we get to do everything that we want to do at a lower price for everyone who's involved. And we get to add so many more benefits and features for everyone involved. And even better than that, we're stepping more into fast TV, which I didn't even know what that term was. And what it basically means is we're adding these different networks such as Tubi, such as Forbes TV, and our audience is not going to be only 9 million, it will be 90 million. So just the fact that we're able to step up our game and that's been part of the technology transfer so we can do these things, it's been really fun to be able to say, hey, you've been here from the beginning, Sarah, welcome to this new world.
And it's so exciting. And I just shared with you that as soon as we finish this broadcast, I'm jumping into my email that's the host email to make sure that I can be up leveling. It was there. I just need to make sure it's still there for me to go in and play with the new technology, because there are some really phenomenal pieces that other hosts are already using and seeing such beautiful things. For example, being able to film in 1080p and having that be something that's easily accessible, not just on my side, but also for the guest's side, and how tremendous that one piece alone is. And as you said, there are so many more bells and whistles that are coming along with this new technology. And I know that this is not our last time to go through growing pains, because technology has this beautiful ability to keep changing, to keep moving forward. And E360 is a company that is interested in really opening up doors for so many different people. And we'll get to that perhaps a little bit later on, talking about E360 music and E360 for other
film, documentaries,
for
scripted
games,
television,
sports. Yes,
pay-per-view, yes,
yes.
all of those things.
If we have time, we'll get there in the end. But I'd love for you to talk a little bit about what you have seen be something that has really exploded how television is working for people like me. What are you noticing in that area?
Here's the thing, we aren't doing things the way that we used to. I mean, this is the new wave. If you think about it, Blockbuster didn't change and evolve, and they went out of business. Basic television, it's kind of a thing of the past. What is next? And with the fast TV that I was talking about, there is this level of creative content from people such as yourself and myself that is not Wayne's World, Mom's Basement quality, but also not full on production, millions of dollars per episode. And and that is the sweet spot that we are helping people with. And I just love that, because there's just so much open road. It's blue sea. It is absolutely beautiful. And us at E360 TV and Arion Television Network, it's one of those things where this year we're not going to be the best kept secret. We are going to toot our own horns and say, hey, this is where you belong. If you have a message, if you want to make impact, if this is how you want to be seen and heard and create a bigger and better platform for yourself, then hey, we're the people. So I'm definitely excited about it, because it's like the bridge in between. And what does that mean? That means that it can and has led to other bigger network things. So it really is the bridge. As we call it, it's the runway to something bigger.
It is the runway. So I'm going to go ahead, and we're doing the Arion TV across the bottom here. Tell us what Arion means. It has such an incredible meaning, and would love to share that.
Thank you so much. First, I kind of want to address the fact that we were Achieve TV and now we're Arion TV. And the reason why is not that there's anything wrong with that name that we had before, but it started to weigh on me as if there was something wrong with who we are now and somewhere we had to be versus where we are in this particular moment. So I thought in order to address that I wanted to pick something that is known in Sanskrit, it's known in Greek, it's known in all sorts of different religions and languages, and the main words that I wanted it to connotate is illustrious. We are noble. We are perfect just as we are. And another word that comes to mind if you look us up is brave. And I think that it takes a lot of courage to let yourself be seen. And that's what we do here.
It does. It does take courage to be seen. And that was part of our beginning conversations that you and I had, because I had been creating these short little pieces on YouTube, putting them out there 2, 3, 4 times a week. And when you offered me to come along for this, I knew it was the right next best step for lots of different reasons. I knew that there were some changes on the horizon in my own life, that I would be walking out of the classroom at some point, and that in every single cell of my being, not once, but twice, is that space of being an educator, of somebody taking knowledge and wanting to share it with other people. And I knew that partnering with you, with E360 TV, was going to be the right place for that. And I love that you have addressed this space of not having to get someplace, because when you think about achievement, I think about having a certificate on the wall. Hey, I did that thing. I did the half marathon. I did that, right? And so, and being in this place of saying, we are sharing tools, we are equipping, we are shining light on beauty that's in people's lives already. It's already there. And for them to then choose to expand it, choose to let their light shine, choose to be authentically who they are in order to be in part of this incredible, as I call it, a celestial orchestra. We need your instrument. So if people are interested in Arion TV, and they're interested in having their own television network, what are some of the questions that you sometimes get for people who are considering that path?
So there's a couple things. One, and you addressed this at first, the people don't think to ask, is the owning your own content. There are other streaming platforms available, but there's a couple things that and I wouldn't have known, things that you should be aware of when you're trying to decide who you want to work with. Mm-hmm. Number one is, how long have they been in business? Usually the fizzle out mark is between 2 and 3 years. If they make it past that, then you probably got a good shot that they're going to last a little bit longer.
Right.
The other thing is definitely, do you own your own content? Because if you walk away and that is not yours, you just gave away your intellectual property. Everything. For what? So make sure that you know that is yours, that you can take it, you can use it wherever you want, because it is your creation. It's your baby. I mean, for lack of better terminology, it is what you have birthed from your soul. And that's the whole thing, is we want to celebrate independent content creators. We don't want to take, we want to highlight. Yes. And the thing that really comes up more than anything is, I don't think I can do this. I don't, that's so much work. And the thing is I'd be lying if I didn't say there was not a learning curve. That being said, I am the person that's going to hold your hand and walk you through it. And I have been doing this for so long. I can quell your fears. I can address your issues. I can hold your hand when you need it and kick your hiney if you need it. And all of these things that you're not on your own. There aren't any YouTube videos to teach you how to do this, but I am your human YouTube video.
And you are so accessible, even though you are still doing your own show, even though you have other things that you're working on, that you are helping, that you are, part of the E360 admin team, so to speak, working with, a host of fairs and making sure that we are staying caught up. One of the things that I love about Arion TV and working specifically with you that I haven't heard from other hosts on E360, other hosts on E360, is that we get together. We have the option of that you have every other week an opportunity for us to get together for truly 30 minutes. It's not 29, it's not 31. So knowing that you respect our time is something that helps me say, oh, I've got to get on the call. And it's an opportunity for us to talk about what's working, what's coming next, some of the ideas that we may have. And I so honor that you see that as being such an important thing, that you keep us in the communication loop, that for those of us who are on the Arion TV network inside of E360, that we have that easy access. All of the other hosts have access to you as well, but we get this extra perk of being able to be on your team. And we have, I think, more office hours potentially as a result of that too.
Don't tell everyone. I'm just kidding. There is some truth to that.
There is. What are some of the things that you would like to see happen on Arion TV? We haven't filled up all of our 24 hours a day, 7 days a week yet. We are growing into that. That is absolutely in front of us. And I have goosebumps as I say that. I'm just so excited about the energy that's happening, the synergy that's taking place as well with that. What are some of the things that you are looking for or desiring as you look at who we are already and becoming and being illustrious, but becoming even more? What are some of the things that you would love to see?
Thing that I say to anybody who is considering doing what we do is you have to be passionate about what it is that you want to talk about. And the whole point of us creating this space and this platform is to not die with our music inside of us. You and I both love music, and I always use those kinds of analogies because it's very visual for me to just imagine, oh yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense to me, because there's so many singers out there that never really get known. Their beautiful voices or their instrument, capabilities are never celebrated because nobody sees them. And it's because there wasn't this platform for them available until now. I mean, E360 TV has been around for almost a decade. So we've got longevity.
It's solid.
But like I said, I just want people who are passionate about what it is that they are talking about. And the piece that I think a lot of people don't really realize is that they don't have to talk about their particular career in order to grow their career through their television show, which is really kind of fun because people get to know who you are, and that's who people want to do business with. Not necessarily that you are, if you're a mortgage broker, for example, your tools are the same as the next and the next and the next. Why would people work with you? Well, yes, some are better than others, but also because of who you are. And how can somebody get to know you and get a peek behind the curtain is by seeing you on television. And there's such a good way to earn people's trust by showing them who you are. And so, like I said, you just have to be passionate about what it is that you want to talk about. Other than that, I am open. As long as you follow the FCC rules, right, I will work with you. I don't have to personally care or like what you're talking about, but you absolutely have to, because otherwise nobody's going to be interested.
That is so true. And I love how you also talk about how you can be growing whatever it is that you do as a result of this. I was working with Elle Ingalls, who was the first woman to be accepted into the U of M, University of Michigan, orchestral conducting program. She broke that glass ceiling. She's an incredible violinist. And as we were talking about things that we do that are that help people to see us as having credentials, one of the things she says, Sarah, you have a television show. When you tell people that automatically gives you more credential than somebody potentially who has a podcast, because you are giving people the opportunity to see your face, to watch what you are doing, to watch the background, to see what artists we show up next in the back, right? All of those different kinds of things that we get a chance to do. And then Danny Koch, who has done the music for our introduction and also for the outro at the end, he is an internationally known musician, and he did our music for us. And so, yes, you could hear that on a podcast, but in the outro, you're going to see a picture of him and also how to get a hold of him. Could we do it a different way? Of course. But there is something about television that is, in my opinion, so compelling.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have to say something really quick. And that is that, and I'm so excited that you mentioned that, because if you think back to when it was radio, everybody sat around the radio and stared at it because we always want to look at something. And it is so much more engaging. It engages more of our senses when we can see and hear. And ultimately, almost everybody has thought about, tried, or has failed at a podcast, and the odds of actually having it be successful and seen, unless you hit that lottery, it's about slim to none. It's kind of like the new business card. Everybody has one, but not everybody has the courage to do a TV show.
Yes. So I'm going to be super vulnerable here. I was born with a cleft lip. I wondered if that was going to be an okay thing to have on television or not. There's a family story behind the incredible stress that my mom was underneath while she was pregnant with me. And I look at it and I see it as I got to have my dad. My dad had been held hostage and when my mom was pregnant with me. And so there was a lot of stress that was taking place in her life. And I got to have my dad until about 15 years ago. And so for me, it's not a shame thing. But we recently relocated and went to the grocery store, and there was somebody there who also has a cleft lip, but her surgeon, or she had the third surgery. So it's really hard to tell. And she began this conversation with me. And for a hot second, I was like, oh my gosh, she sees me. And then I realized that the reason why she saw me was because she has one as well. I bring this up because we are in season 6+. I have been our second calendar year, we had over 288,000 people watch either the full show, part of the show, or a reel that had all the show information attached to it around the globe. So I'm just here to tell you that I stutter sometimes. I speak really quickly other times. I will interrupt people. I have a cleft, all the things, right? And if I can do this, then others can as well. One of the things that you said to me from the very beginning, you've already said here about be passionate. Know that what you have to say is something that somebody's going to want to listen to. So do I have the most views of all of the people on E360 television? No, there have been people who have much wider audiences. But I share that because I'm in my lane. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And when we all get together, we celebrate each other. There isn't this competition of anyone saying, show me your numbers. I'm choosing to share my numbers just for people who are listening in to say, hey, if Sarah on Simply Sarah can do this, I can do this as well, because there is space on Arion TV. And we do want people who are passionate, who have something to share of value. We just believe that there are more of us out there. And that's one of the reasons why we're having this conversation today, is I just felt it's so important to be able to share with other people. If you are listening in and you think that maybe you've got something, come have a conversation with Ann Meyer. She is remarkable, easy to talk to, and absolutely straight up all the time.
Yes, I think that's the New York in me. I lived there for about a decade and it definitely rubbed off. There's something that I'd love to share with everybody that's watching too. And it's something that I shared with you in the beginning as well. And it is that people are not looking for your flaws. People are rooting for you. This is not social media. There is a huge difference.
Yes.
There is a huge difference between social media and what we do. And all the things that we notice about ourselves, like Sarah, I didn't even notice your lip for years.
Right. I know.
Was like, I didn't notice because I see you.
Yes. Yes.
And here, the things that we think are so obvious about ourselves, other people don't even notice because they're just so taken by your energy and who you're being and how you are helping them or entertaining them, whatever the case may be. And my question is not who are you to, but who are you not to? And that's the better question.
It is.
Who are you not serving by not showing up?
Yes. Who needs to hear your voice, share your story, share your experiences? so that they can then see life through a different perspective. And
Exactly.
by being on television, being on camera, you are showing that. And it makes it so much more, I'm going to use the word legitimate. There's, I'm sure, a better word for it, but it just legitimizes what the voice is saying, what the energy is saying. As you said, it gives one more way of the senses to be able to take in information and to decide for you, the audience, if it makes sense, if the person is believable to you, using more of your senses in that space.
Yes, absolutely. Why not connect as much as we can? If we're going to, why not go all the way?
Yes.
I mean, I am very shy. I know it doesn't seem like it, but even when I go to events, I do a lot of red carpet, a
You
lot of
do.
big events. I co-hosted LA Fashion Week.
Yes.
I do all these really big in the eye kind of things, but it's like, I don't do it for me. I do it for whoever it is that needs to know it's possible. And that's what makes it easier, because I don't make it about me. So if you are, no matter what you choose for yourself,
Right.
if it is to just say hi to somebody on the street that you're walking by, if it is to compliment someone, if it's to do a social media live, if it's to do a podcast, whatever it is that speaks to you, just do it. Do it
Yes.
full out, not halfway. Do it full
Right.
out, whatever it is.
Yes. And I think one of the things also that, as a recovering educator, as I call myself, that space that we had to do it right if we we're going to do it in front of the class, just to take that away and for it to be what it is. And
Mhm.
we can choose on Arion TV. E360 TV gives us the option to pre-record things or to do them live. Wow, that's just amazing. And I do choose frequently to pre-record because I'm interviewing people in South Africa, people in Australia. For timing, I've never thought that talk for me, my personality, being up at 2 o'clock in the morning talking is just not my thing. And so I want to find a time that's going to be good for everybody, right? And I love that. And out of all of the shows that we've done, we've only had one person say, "Can you please edit out when I told you the wrong name of the actor who did whatever, and I gave you the right name? Can you edit that out?" That's been the only edit that we have done in all of these, whether we've chosen to pre-record or have it go out live. And I just think that that's so remarkable. What you are seeing is who we are. And I was recording while we were relocating, and I was using different backgrounds in different places because it took us months in different places before we got to where we are now. And even here, there have been multiple backgrounds and things. And for some reason, people keeps showing up in a beautiful way because it's about the message. Perhaps they're interested in what's behind me, but I think so much of it's about the conversation we're having. Who is Sarah going to have on today? What are we going to learn about? And they are learning so much today, Julianne.
Well, that's the thing too, is, in the microwave society that we live in, people want things now and they want it fast. And
Yes.
there is this whole idea of swipe, swipe, swipe
Mhm.
and scrolling and whatnot. But there is still this huge audience for long form, which is what we're doing.
Yes.
So it's pretty remarkable how much people tune in and for how long. So there is room
Yes.
for it. And the thing that I really want to point out that you said that I want to highlight is this idea of doing it live versus pre-recording.
Right.
Even when I pre-record, I don't edit. I've never edited in
Yeah.
5 years. I have never edited a single one. And if I screw it up, I screw it up,
Yeah.
because I just laugh, because that makes me human. If somebody else screws up, so what?
Yes.
You're visiting my home and you get
Right.
to see our conversation between a couple of people.
Yes.
That's just how it is. But if you want to have an edited
Sure.
content, we support and
Yes. Do it.
cherish that as well, wherever and however you want, because once again, it's yours. So
Yes. Yes. I love how you said that there is space for people, for them to come with a deep passion in their heart to reach out to you about that. Moving a little bit from Arion TV into E360, doing host affairs, talking about how there are ways for us to be sharing our information a little bit more. I will just share that one of the reasons I think that I've grown so much is because I have done what E360 encourages us to do. Make a 30-second video and give it to them ahead of time so that they can put that out there, so that E360 is also doing advertising for us. And then I can share information in with them, and I get to create, if I want to, my own on Canva, what I want to have sent out on my own social media. They're going to do things on their social media, but they will also share with me things that I get to use as well, which I think is just such a plus, plus, plus. It wasn't something that I was expecting to have happen. And they are just so incredibly supportive in that whole space of we want you to be successful. And so I just want to highlight that also inside of E360. Are there other things that you would like to share?
You know, that's the thing that I think is really wonderful. I have gotten job offers for doing exactly what I do for other networks that maybe would pay more or are kind of a little more shiny or something along those lines. But here's the thing. There's something about E360 TV that we're more like a family versus a technology company, which if you look us up, we're a technology company. And the thing that I really, truly love and I want to highlight is that from the very top, Aaron Hymas, our CEO, the way that he leads us is very much we're all equals. We are all equals. We all have our lane. And my position in particular was created because he saw a need that there were certain holes that were just not being filled. And he only has 24 hours in the day like the rest of us. And I happen to be really good at filling those holes. So he brought me in to do these things. So like what I get to do with Host Affairs, which is really fun, is listen to people such as you, Sarah, and anybody else and figure out, okay, we're doing this, but we need this, or it would be really great if we could offer this, or what if we, and, you know, just brainstorming and bringing these things to the table. And as grateful as I am with Arion TV, it's, and you know, the network that we're on, being a part of the E360 TV means that I get to do more for Arion. I get to do more for everyone in general. All the things that would cost me too much time, energy, and money on my own, we can do. And so I get to have my dreams come alive. And that's what we want for everyone that works with us, for your dreams to come alive.
Yes. I love that Aaron will call himself the janitor of a custodian. I just think it's so funny. And that, you know, he will send out emails to all of us for us to get together for a sandbox. And so everybody comes in who can, and they record it. So if we need to listen later on, we can. But again, for all the hosts on all the different networks to be able to be together and get information straight and have a question answer time. How powerful is that? And he will also bring in experts from the outside at times for those. And it's just, I'm just truly amazed at the price point and the quality. Both of those pieces are just so, for me, just so incredibly amazing. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And that's something too that's, I don't think a lot of other places do that, is we grandfather people in with our pricing. So it doesn't jump up just because we add more. It doesn't jump up just because the technology's better. Right. We really do want to make it as affordable as possible. It is very people-centric. That being said, we do need to make money also, but we put so much back into the company in order to make it bigger and better. And I'm proud of what we've accomplished so far, and also what we will be accomplishing in the next 2 years, because from 2024 to the end of 2025 is going to be a quantum leap.
Absolutely. I'm seeing that already as we are having conversations and being introduced to E360 Movie. And then knowing that the music is out there, E360 Music is out there as well. As a mom of a college water polo player, we would go to watch games in person when we could. When we couldn't, there would be somebody with a shaky camera trying to do something, and we could only watch it if we got the link in time to be able to watch it, because it was live only. And I absolutely, my heart just swelled when I heard that you guys were going to be offering also for those kinds of things. It can be for collegiate kinds of things. It can be for big kinds of things. The platform is there. We can handle huge, but you don't have to be huge in order for this to be a good fit for you. We'd love for you to share a little bit about some of those other adventures that E360 is opening up for people.
Absolutely. You bring up a really good point, Sarah, and it's the same idea. If you go, you can watch NBA, MLB, all of these things, but what about the farm teams? What about, all the junior teams, the ones that maybe, like for me, when I was growing up, we didn't have an NHL hockey team. We had WHL, which is Western Hockey League, younger folk. And I had season tickets. I used to go all the time. So what if there's a huge audience for all of these types of things? And now we are able to televise those types of sporting events, whether or not we're actually in talks with some special needs sporting events, so that because there's a huge audience for all of these things. And so why not put it out there so more people can see? And that's what we're doing. And that's what I'm so excited about, because as my husband would say, there's a subculture for everything. Well, I don't and it almost sounds like less than, but it just means that this is my niche. This is what I prefer. Like, I still prefer WHL to NHL hockey, and that's me. That's my jam. So it would be really nice to be able to see my home team in Seattle if I don't live there anymore. So we have that. The music, oh my goodness, the music is so remarkable. We have been highlighting and are bringing on different types of shows that will be behind the scenes, kind of like MTV back in the originally as well. But really what we're doing is just having a whole bunch of music of independent artists who really just need to be heard or want to be heard. And we are giving them the platform to be heard and seen and be able to get their music out there in the way it deserves. It's art. It deserves to be seen. Yes. And so that's what I'm really excited about. We're doing pay-per-view. We just had an event with NASA that was really exciting.
William Shatner.
Yeah, William Shatner, among some others like, Jacques Cousteau's daughter was on. It was really remarkable that we were able to highlight people and subjects that are really big that maybe wouldn't make it to network because there isn't that kind of generic audience for that. And this is really highlighting all the specialties and everything that we do. So music, movies, documentaries, everybody independent. Oh, we want them all, because we're just so excited to highlight everyone. And, the thing with it is there is a level of professionalism that needs to be met in order to be seen on our network. But that doesn't mean that we aren't willing to work with you to get you to that level if you're not there yet. Absolutely. So we don't like to say no, but we might say not yet.
And there's also this space of training and conversation. What I noticed when all of the hosts were together in Los Angeles in May for Hostopia, what I noticed was this space of not only Aaron, but there were others who were in that bracket with him, who one of them was, I'm not sure I'm going to say this correctly, but when the movie The Secret came out, she was the person who would go and set up and for people to come in person and have conversations and do all that kind of thing. So she already has the understanding of what it takes to go into an area. She has The Secret as part of who she is, what she's done. And so that comes along, and she talked very freely about, we are looking for the next Secret. We're looking for that next movie that does that kind of thing, that isn't a huge investment in terms of money to make the movie, but the impact on people's lives is such that you have to tell other people, you just can't wait to say, you've got to watch this movie. You've got to be part of this. You've got to see this. This is going to be something that's going to really impact your conversations with other people and how you choose to lead. And so I loved that she was so open about that. But I also love that we have people who this is not their first rodeo, as an American expression of saying it's not their first time to do something like this. This is their gift to all of us to be able to do and to grow and to earn a different type of income as a result of as well.
Exactly, because money is such a dirty word to so many people, but ultimately it's energy and
Yes.
you need it in order to do what you got to do. So for me, there has to be some sort of energy exchange when you are creating your own piece of art for TV. And whether that's through networking, through straight financials, whatever the case may be, you need to be receiving something in return, because you are giving impact. You are giving a piece of your soul and you are trading your life for this. You need to get something back. It's just the laws of the universe, give and receive. It's not just give, 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 give. It's
Right.
give and receive. And I did want to mention, it's Aggie Cobran that Sarah's been talking about. And she's our Chief Relationship Officer and also one of the founders of E360 TV. So, she's a remarkable woman, and she's also how we ended up with NASA working with us. So that woman could do some pretty remarkable things.
She can. And I love how easy it is to be with her. And they were showing us some of the things about, when you are a host and you're asking questions. And so she got up there and she was the host asking questions. And, she would stop and they would give us tips and talk about different things. And then they would go on to the next question and stuff. And just to watch her be able to, like water, like a fish in water, just move through so many different, and now try this and now do this. And then, she can get up front and hold the audience also. I really appreciate who she is and what she brings to the table. So again, for people who are listening in, who are considering, who are wondering, we've been around for almost a decade, and it is an amazing place to come and interact with people. And both of us have asked enough questions, and you have looked up under enough rocks to know if this is a legitimate place to be. And we both can say absolutely yes, that this is an excellent place if you're interested in expanding who you are and what you're working on and coming into a televised audience. We would love to have you consider us.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is, I'm always open to talking to anybody who's thinking about it. It might not be the right fit. It might not, but we don't know until we talk. We have no idea until there's a conversation. And, I've been told to sort of make things a little less people-centered so that I can just throw out videos. Here you go, try this, blah, blah, blah. But no, for me, this is very much, let's connect and see what we can grow. Because every time I've had a conversation with anyone, it's not a waste of time. First of all, it's just never a waste of time, because I walk away with something too. Even if I am giving you a tip or a clue or something that's going to help your life, that means it's something that I can also give to somebody else, or there's some sort of give. It's a give and take. It's not just taking or giving. It is back and forth. And that's really why we're here. It's all about relationship and creating the next big thing. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to find the people that are going to be the next secret, or even for themselves. If that's not what they want, then by all means, let's just do what you want and create the level of success that you desire for yourself. It doesn't have to be that. It could be whatever you want it to be.
Yes. Oh, I love that you said that, because that's so, so true. I also appreciate, Julianne, that you talk about yourself being somebody who really enjoys quiet time, and that balance of being in front of the camera and choosing downtime away from the camera. What are some of the things that you enjoy doing for your own personal self-care, things that you think that other people might possibly benefit from considering?
So there is something I do that is actually quite funny. I have a dog, so I walk him quite a bit, but I always listen to music whenever I'm walking him because he likes it's not a walk as much as it is a sniffari.
Yeah.
And, every 2 seconds we got to stop and smell something. So I'm not really actually walking. And in order to let him be a dog and do dog things, I'm going to entertain myself. But not only does it raise my vibration, but I tend to dance, and I dance like nobody is watching. And there can be somebody watching, but I don't really care because it's not for them. It's for me. But
Yes.
the funny thing is I've actually heard so many people come up to me that like live in the area where I am and say, I see you dancing. It makes my day. And so there's
Good.
always somebody watching. There's always somebody watching. So why not? You just never know who you're impacting by just being you. You don't have to do anything. You can just be you. I'm just listening to music. That's one of the main things I do, but also anything water related. If I need to calm myself or come up with a new idea, water. And what do I mean by that? Not only drinking it, but bath, shower, hot tub, pool, lake, whatever the case may be, go to the ocean. If I can get near water, those are the two things that absolutely ground me and bring me back to center and just lighten the mood because it's for me and it's my alone time.
Yes. And I love that you call it a sniffari. And Murphy is just such a delight. Just such a happy dog.
He is a sweet pea. I spend more time with that dog than I do any human.
And he is grateful and doesn't want to give you up.
No, definitely
Doesn't want to
not.
trade that at all.
That's one of the joys of doing what I do because I get to work from home. And I do go out for events and I do get to go out and be with people. And that's the nice thing about being part of the E360 TV team. Even before I was like on payroll, was that it's a team. So I never felt alone. And that's really what we want to create for everybody else, so that you don't feel alone, because otherwise it would be really daunting to take on something that we, like you and I do, Sarah. It would be too much without that team behind us.
And it's just so lovely because I get to work on reaching out to who I want to have on the show, finding the time that's going to work for us to be able to record or pre-record, and then also come into that space of being able to share the information with the team. And then they do all of their technological magic and make sure that everything happens where it's supposed to and how it's supposed to. And it really is an amazing experience. I am not a techie. I am a late adopter for most things. And what I love about this is that at no point have I ever felt like I was not smart enough or couldn't figure out what the next step was, because there was always somebody that I could reach out to or say, hey, can we do this? Can we try this one more time? Or, you know what, I tried this other platform and that wasn't the experience that I think that you guys thought that we were going to be having. And so as we are coming to a platform that is a tried and true, gives us so many more bells and whistles, is incredibly supportive on the backside. Don't know what that means, but apparently it's really, really good for everybody in the technological world. What I'm loving about it is that Arion is available to train us, to teach us. And if we try it and we get stuck, we can still reach out to other people and say, hey, this is this question that I have. I'm not really quite sure how to make this part work. And I know that you are using this really successfully. Can you help me out with this? And every single host that I have interacted with at any level, at any point, on anything at all, whether I'm asking them questions or they're asking me questions, it's just been this easy, we're here together, we are encouraging each other. And having left an area where I was an itinerant teacher, and after I left the classroom and became an itinerant teacher, it felt like I really didn't have a home. I knew that I did, but it still didn't feel quite like that. Coming into E360 has been such a remarkable thing. And then as we relocated, to know that I had this family that didn't care where I was living in the world, that didn't care if I knew where things were in the grocery store, that didn't care what the weather was going to be, who just cared that we were still in communication and talking about the things that mattered here. And that has just helped me in so many different ways, Julianne. And I'm just so grateful that you reached out to me and said, hey, let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing too that I really love is that, I wouldn't consider myself a techie either. And it's really bizarre coming from somebody like me because I work for a technology company and I run a distribution as well as my own television network. But that's the thing is I don't need to know everything. I just need to know who to ask. And we have that entire team. So I get to stay in my lane and do what I want to do. And I can just say, hey, Aaron, can you please do this? Because no clue. Granted, I am on the calls with the developers and things of that nature, but it's more for the human aspect of, yes. Hey, you know what? We need this. We need to be able to see this. This needs to happen now. This is taking too long, whatever the case may be. So that I bring in the human aspect. And that's really kind of how we want it to be for anybody that works with us. Is my goal for 2025 is, well, and this is a continuation from last year. This part is to meet anybody wherever they are and help them create their vision. But also, I really want people like you, Sarah, to stay in your lane and be able to just create and do what you are great at. And then I can help provide those pieces that are missing for you if you need that. If you need help finding a producer, if you need help finding an editor, you know what? We've got some that we recommend. Here's where you can go. And just so that it makes it so much easier to show up and do the parts you want and not have to do the parts you don't want to do.
That is so well said. I love that. Brenda, are there things that you would like to make sure that people really walk away with knowing about Arion TV, about E360 TV, things that you want to reiterate?
So what I'd love to say is that it's not as hard as you think it is. You can be at any level of ability and we can work with you. We will help create your vision because it's yours. Now, me in particular, I'm not interested in a bunch of mini me's. And neither is Aaron. We don't need a bunch of mini us's. We need big yous. Whatever you are, we need you to be big and shine. And I'm really good at bringing that out in people. And so is Aaron. And I don't want fear to be the reason why it stops you from moving forward, because we can work through all of that, all of it together. And you deserve for people to know who you are and what your heart is. Why not? Why not share?
You started talking earlier about you were at a point that you knew that things needed to grow or they needed to go. Yeah. And so for anyone else who is listening in, who has something on their heart and they know that it's time for it to grow, it needs to change, something needs to happen, it needs to blossom, it needs to flourish, or it's time for it to be let go. I just invite you to have a conversation with Julianne about Arion TV, about coming into this place and enjoying the goodness of being able to share who you are, what gifts and talents that flow through you, and to be able to share those with a world that's listening in. And it's a remarkable thing. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. I really appreciate being here today, Sarah.
That's so good to see you. And for our dear audience, we say thank you so much for being here as well. There are so many things that we have talked about today, but I just wanted to pull back the curtain a little bit and let you see what happens, what takes place. There's a better way of saying this, to see that there are real people who are supportive and helping and want what Simply Sarah is to continue to grow and to be. And I'm not saying that for me, I'm saying it for you, the audience, because there's so many other voices out there that have this beautiful thing inside of you that maybe now is the time. Now is the time for you to take that next step and develop that. Know that who you are is important. Know also to take good care of yourself. Until next time.